and then that's our choke. Like a really easy thrower takedown. Today's video, we're going to show the ancient techniques of Hanbo Jitsu. Let's go. The first technique, my opponent's going to strike at me. I'm going to step to the outside to evade the strike, and I'm going to strike inside to his body, catch the wrist or the weapon hand. I'm going to move my stick here to control his arm, his shoulder, and his elbow. So for our first technique, my opponent is coming at me with really any short-range weapon in his dominant arm. He's stepping forward for the thrust. I'm stepping out of the way. And as I step out of the way, I'm going to hit him to his body and control that weapon hand. And as I'm controlling the weapon hand, I'm going to turn the Hanbo here, controlling his shoulder and his elbow. If my opponent retracts his strike, I can come back, and the Hanbo can act just like a sword. It's only about 5 inches shorter, 5 to 7 inches shorter than a sword, so I can also use it just like a sword. Let's watch that again. In the previous technique, we stepped to the outside. Now in this technique, we're going to step to the inside. And as I step to the inside, I'm striking my opponent and controlling the weapon hand. Now, the staff or the Hanbo is going to turn to his back, and I'm bending his arm in as much as possible. I have to bend the arm in because as I turn it, if I miss here, I don't accomplish anything. But I turn the arm in a little bit, and I catch his back to bend him straight down. One of my favorite ones coming up now. This is the Oni Kodaki shoulder lock. You know, I first learned this technique as a grab. If somebody was to grab my gi from here to come and make the shoulder lock. But now we're going to see how we can do it with the Hanbo. So I'm going to step in and block the weapon hand, and I'm going to strike my opponent. Turning the Hanbo here, I catch it in my hand, and I use the leverage of the staff, of the weapon, to crank for that shoulder lock. Now we can submit someone from standing, or we can take them all the way down to the ground. I want to mention something. If you're going to take them all the way to the ground for training purposes, make sure you follow with them, or they're going to end up with their shoulder hanging up here while they're falling down, right? So. Well, as a full-time jiu-jitsu instructor, I love choking people. And when I teach jiu-jitsu, I often say smaller people, or a lot of times the women in class that have smaller forearms, and they go for those chokes, it feels like sticks up against your throat. And I use that analogy a lot. I said, man, it feels like a stick on your throat, man, it's really gonna be bad news. Well, with the Hanbo, it can really be a stick on your throat. So let's see some Hanbo chokes. It's going to be like a paper cutter choke where the leverage of the stick is going to be here. I'm going to show you guys. So it's going to be like this, and we're going to put their neck right here. Using the leverage of me pushing and pulling back, I'm going to choke them just like that. It reminds me of a paper cutter choke in jiu-jitsu. So here comes that strike. I'm going to block to the outside. Be super careful with these chokes if you practice them at home. I'm going to come up here to the throat. Now look it. My forearm goes against the carotid artery on Nick over here. And then the stick, by me pushing here, goes against the other carotid artery, so it's a carotid artery choke. Nick and I were talking about this, and we said if your head is trapped in there, you can throw someone real easy. Yeah, because if you're controlling someone's head, you can control their whole body. So you can choke them or throw them with this. So I'm here, and then that's our choke. Next choke is the X choke. This is just like the X choke in Jiu-Jitsu. So this is one of our most common techniques in Jiu-Jitsu. It's on our first level, on the white belt level, and we're just reaching our forefingers up into a collar, reaching the other forefingers up in the collar and bringing them in for the choke. So if I had Nick here, I'm reaching up here, and I'm just bringing him in for my choke. We're doing the exact same thing, but now with the Hanbo. Now, because I have control of his head, I can squeeze for the choke, or we can make a really easy throw or takedown. I remember this time I was training with Hoist Gracie. So Hoist Gracie is the person I received my first jiu-jitsu belt from a long time ago. And someone asked him, well, if you're choking someone with this and they put their chin down, you know, how do you change the move? Do you have to let go of the choke? And Hoist said, oh, you know, come on up, let me show you. And they put their chin down and Hoist just cranked on their face and the guy was like, ah! And man, imagine how brutal that would be with the stick. I don't even know if I want this done to me, but I guess I'll let you do it to me. So here, we'll let you do it to me. So either technique, if I strike at them, now my chin's down, cranking my face, feels worse, actually feels worse. The choke's just gonna choke me unconscious. The face is gonna break my whole face. Let's try it again. Oh, so painful. I do a body lock throw, which is also kind of a choke, right? Which is choking the whole body with the stick. So the weapon comes at me. I step to the outside to hit the hand or the weapon. In the Filipino martial arts, when you hit the hand, they call it defanging the snake, because if you can take the fangs away from the snake, you know, you disarm the snake, right? So anytime a weapon's coming at me, if I can hit that hand, crack, to make them drop the weapon, that's a bonus for me. But of course, we could also hit the weapon. Hitting the weapon could damage the weapon or could shock them and make them drop it. I've always preferred the hand though, boom, because you just can't go wrong with hitting the hand. Now I'm gonna come for a whole body lock, and I'm just gonna drive my opponent down. Now, I'm going to have Nick do the same technique to me, and what I want to show is that you can certainly make someone tap from a body lock, especially with the stick, because the stick is so hard and you're crushing them, right? This is like a bear hug times like 1,000, right? So from here, it's there. When he comes in, if he squeezes enough, like, it's going to tap me out. Okay, right now it's hard for you to see what's going on, but it's crushing my wrist, crushing my body. Small stick versus larger stick. Come at me once. Boom! From here, taking a smaller stick. Sometimes you can come here and you can make the end of the stick here, instead of going here like this, you can use here. You can drive into him to take him down or to submit somebody. So in that application, you can see using the end of the stick instead of the full stick. So what happens if your opponent grabs your stick? So they grab your weapon. If you're not using a bladed weapon, they might be able to run in and capture your weapon before you're able to launch off an attack. And so if I'm here and my opponent grabs my weapon, okay, if I don't have an answer for this and I just start pulling the weapon away, it's gonna be, we have an even battle right now. Look, he's got his right hand on the weapon, I have my right hand on the weapon, and so we have an even battle. Anybody could win this fight right now. And if he was to take my weapon away from me and now he has a weapon, I'm in big trouble, right? That's one problem with having a weapon, actually, is that, let's say you have a knife, you have a weapon, and you come at somebody and they disarm you and take it. That's one very big problem with having a weapon in a self-defense confrontation. But in this situation, if he grabs my weapon, we have to know how to get the weapon back right away. So this is our basic wrist escapes. And so if you've ever seen any of my other videos, it's just a wrist escape. We do this if he grabs my wrist here. I could escape this way, I could escape this way. And so he's got the stick, I just come over the top. When I put the stick straight down here, right on that little point right there, it's gonna make him let go. You can see he's letting go because it hurts. So as he's holding here, I come here, and when I push down, that's really painful right there. So as I push, he has to let go. Now one trick that we can do is we can come here and we can not allow them to let go. So I can capture his hand and I can apply pressure and I can submit him there. So again, he grabs the weapon. I could come here make him let go, and then bam. Or he grabs a weapon, I can catch his hand, trap his hand, so he can't let go, and I can make the submission. Now we're going to talk about disarming a weapon. So weapon versus weapon, stick versus stick, and hitting a disarm. So I've seen these techniques done in both Japanese martial arts and Filipino martial arts. And they're really easy ways to disarm a weapon if we're dealing with sticks, not swords, okay? So the first one is if my opponent comes at me, Nick comes up here, I'm going to block. Oh, I want to show you something with this block. First of all, if I just put my stick here to block, the odds are that his power is going to be so great that it's still going to hit me. So I like to back it up with this hand. And when I do back it up with this hand, I hide my fingers on my thumb. So I don't grab like this, because now, bam, you just crush my fingers, right? So I back it up here, like that. Also, there's always an opportunity to step off the line at like a 45-degree angle and hit his hand. Okay, so that time I hit the stick purposely, but we have we're not using padded sticks right now, we have wooden sticks, so we don't want to hit each other's hands for real. But what I'm thinking is this is actually, bam, hitting his hand to make him drop the weapon. So our first disarm is actually just hitting their weapon hand. So if I was to come at Nick here, he just hits my hand, boom. That time he did a block, he blocked in towards my hand. No, do that again, that was great. He jammed it, boom, see? He's jamming it right at my knuckles. Or if you come at me with the strike here, boom, he's right there, right on my knuckles. Now, if the stick comes and I block, I oftentimes have opportunities to capture their weapon. Now, from this weapon capture, I can bring my stick here and apply leverage to his stick to make him let go. Or I can capture his whole stick by coming over the top and getting it right in my armpit here and then catching the top. Now, hold on to that a little tighter. If I can't quite get this, I'll take this stick and I'll put it in their armpit and I'll push them and drive back to make them let go. And now I have both sticks. Okay, so again, the strike comes at me here. I can catch the stick, apply pressure there. Let's see that at this angle over here. Using this leverage to remove the stick. Or trapping the whole stick, my hand comes up here and I push to make him let go. Now, if someone strikes at me at this angle, coming over here, same thing, I could hit his knuckles, or I was trying to go light there, you might not have seen that, but I can hit his knuckles, I can block and hit his knuckles, I can step out at a 45, boom, and I can smack his knuckles. Sorry about that, Nick.
Oh, good.
I wrapped his knuckles just a little bit there, I'm trying to be careful. Or if I get the block here, now I can capture his stick and my stick together. You notice his thumb right there, right? They're always going to be holding that stick on that strike with that thumb there. And I can trap his thumb with my stick. Now I can squeeze his thumb to lock his thumb, and I make a big circle to the outside and take his thumb off as I disarm the weapon. On this side, here, to the thumb, just like that. If you'd like to learn more about Ninpo Taijutsu, we have an entire curriculum from white belt to black belt at teamthirdheaven.com.